Hey guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to the video, and today I am finally doing a heroic set 2 check-in for you guys. This has been requested so much because, as you guys know or may not know, I've been converting all of set 2 to digital artwork and creating new cards along the way. It's been like a year or two at least since I've done my last heroic set 2 check-in or anything really set 2 related, so this is definitely a very much anticipated video, and I'm really excited to show you guys all the new cards. Before we get started, I just want to say that all of these cards and their effects are subject to change as I start to do more and more playtesting with them, so the attacks, defenses, levels, and effects could possibly change farther down the road. Alright, so far I have 28 cards done, and I'm hoping to get about the same amount as set 1 completed before I release it, so that's probably about 73 cards. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to do this in alphabetical order. First off is a Blackhole Galactic Guardian, a level 1 Dark Element hero with attack of 450, defense of 375, and the effect says, when this hero is summoned, you may discard any number of Galactic Guardian class heroes from your hand into the dungeon. Then select one card on your opponent's side of the grid and send it to their dungeon. So as you guys may or may not know, I decided to change the Paladin cards to Galactic Guardians just for some copyright title issues regarding Voltron, like the Netflix series. But a lot of the Galactic Guardians, I think, are playing around with your dungeon and putting things in and out of your dungeon and then building off effects from doing these abilities. And as I make more of these cards, you'll be able to see how the effects kind of correlate with each other. Also, I don't have a lot of the rarities and types and stuff done for these cards. I just have a lot of the base effects. Alright, our second card for today is Brent the Brash. This is a level 1 Fire Element hero. This is one of the ones from the original set 2 cards. Attack of 350 and defense of 400. When this hero is summoned, you may discard a card and then select a hero on your side of the grid. The selected hero can attack 2 heroes this turn. A lot of the Fire Element cards kind of have to do with being a little bit aggressive with your heroes and being able to attack twice, like Combustion Glove and stuff like that. So this is another hero that's going to let you do the same thing. Our next card is Brother Tsunami, and this is the water class that's coming in set 2, or Archetype if you want to call it that. And I actually have all the Tsunami heroes done, so I'm super excited to show you guys them. This is a fan favorite archetype. They're very much based around controlling your opponent and what your opponent is able to do. So this is Brother Tsunami. It's a level 1 water element hero, attack of 350 and defense of 300. The effect says, once per your turn, you may randomly select one card in your opponent's hand and send it to their dungeon. You cannot have more than one Brother Tsunami on your side of the grid at one time. So as you can see, this is a pretty strong effect, so I purposely made its defense a little bit lower so that it's hopefully a little bit easier to kill and not too difficult for your opponent to get over. Our next one is my favorite card art so far from set 2. This is Card Slinger. I just love how the art turned out, but it is a level 1 Fire Element hero, attack of 400 and defense of 375. For every card in your hand, your opponent's heroes lose 25 defense. This is only in effect while this hero is on the grid. So it's kind of a cool ability where the more cards you have in your hand, the lower your opponent's defense is. It makes it easier for you to kill them. Next up is the level 0 Electric Element hero, Conjurer of the Current. Attack of 0 and defense of 400 for a level 0. But the effect says, whenever your opponent plays a gadget, this hero loses 50 defense. If this hero is stacked on, the stacked hero gains 1 level instead of 0. So I put in this ability so it's a little bit easier for your opponent to kill it because its defense is 400, and that's kind of crazy for a level 0. But I also wanted to add more support for the stack heroes that are coming in set 2. And I'll probably have another video on stack heroes farther down the line, but if it gets stacked on top of, it gains another level instead of being 0, since it's technically a level 0. Next up is the Nature Element archetype or class that is coming in set 2, and this is my personal favorite class out of the entire game. To be completely honest, I really like the art, and 2 like the whole playstyle aspect behind it, but the exotics are going to be based on chance and rolling dice and flipping coins and stuff like that. It's more of a fun archetype than something super serious. I don't have all of them done, but this is Damon the Exotic, a level 1, attack of 300 and defense of 400. When this hero is summoned, let your opponent randomly select a card from your hand. If it's a hero, you gain coins equal to its level. If it's a gadget, nothing happens. So again, this class is very much based on just chance. But you can get really lucky and get really overpowered effects from them, or you can kind of just end up with nothing. Next up is Dusk Drake, a level 0 Nature Element hero. This is also from the original set 2 cards. Attack of 250 and defense of 250. If this hero is summoned by a card effect, you can select one hero and increase its defense by 50. So a lot of the Nature Element effects are kind of based on building each other up, increasing their attacks and defenses to one another. So that's kind of what this is doing. Next is our first gadget for today. This is in Capture, a trap gadget. This is also in the original set 2 cards, and it says when your opponent attacks, negate the attack, and the attacking hero cannot attack during your opponent's next turn. Discard this card at the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's kind of just preventing their attack for this turn and the next turn. Next is Flutter Boots, and I actually just made this card today, and I don't know why, but I think the art turned out like absolutely really cool, especially compared to the original art. I really like the dust particles and the lightning effect. Anyways, it's an equip gadget, and it says the equipped hero cannot be attacked during your opponent's next turn. Discard this card when the equipped hero is sent to your dungeon. So this is kind of if you have a hero that you really want to protect, maybe it's got like a really special ability that's really powerful, this is a really good card for that. Next up is Garden Gnomes, our first magic gadget for today. It says if you summoned a level 0 hero this turn, then you may summon 1 additional nature element hero this turn. This effect is subject to change, especially with some rule changes that might come in set 2. But one of my goals for set 2 was adding more support for nature element because I felt it was a little bit lacking in set 1. So that is what this card is. Next up is Jester of Change. This is a level 1 electric element hero. Attack of 350 and defense of 350. It says when your opponent uses a hero's effect, flip a coin. Heads, negate the effect. Tails, gain a coin. So both of these effects are good. It just depends on what one you need at the time. And I wanted to play around with chance with this card, especially because there's a lot of dice and cards and coins and stuff in the card art, so I kind of wanted something along those lines. Next up is a really strong card that's coming in set 2. This is a level 1 dark element hero named Medusa the Stone Stare. Attack of 375 and defense of 250. Once per your turn, select one hero on your opponent's side of the grid. It can no longer attack or use its effect. So this is obviously just like completely solidifying a card. It's basically becomes dead, but it's still on the field, taking up a space on their side of the grid. It still has all their attack and defense. Still have to kill it, but it's not going to hurt you at all. But I made her defense a little bit lower since her effect is so good, so hopefully your opponents can actually kill it too. Next, to add on to our tsunamis is Mr. Tsunami. This is the level 2 water element hero. Attack of 600 and defense of 500. While this hero is on the grid, whenever your opponent uses a trap gadget, you may spend 1 coin to negate it. You cannot have more than one Mr. Tsunami on your side of the grid at one time. So again, kind of how I was explaining before, the tsunamis are all about controlling your opponent, so you can negate their trap gadgets with this card. And then the last of the Tsunami heroes is Mrs. Tsunami, a level 2 water element hero. Attack of 450 and defense of 550. While this hero is on the grid, Sister Tsunami and Brother Tsunami cannot be destroyed by battle. Cannot have more than one Mrs. Tsunami. So she's kind of like the mother of the group, I guess, basically protecting her kids. They cannot be destroyed by battle, which is kind of insane, especially with how powerful her kids' effects are. But if you kill her, then her children are vulnerable, and you can also still kill them with Gadget. Next up is Poreless of Change. This is a magic gadget. It says discard a card and put 1 card from your hand into your deck, then shuffle your deck. So this is kind of just giving you control over what's in your deck, what's in your hand, and what's in your dungeon. This is super useful for a lot of the classes like Constellations and the Galactic Guardians especially, and even just like the water element, because it's very much based on getting things out of your dungeon and out of your deck. So I would say this card's really useful. Next up is another one of my favorite arts from the game is Private Investigator, a level 0 light element hero. Attack of 150 and defense of 200. When this hero is summoned, select an opponent. You may look at that opponent's hand. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you could end up using this card, but it pairs it really well with Samade the Intellectual, which we'll talk about in a few more cards. Next up is Rue the Exotic. This is another one of the exotic class heroes, a level 2 nature element hero. Attack of 475 and defense of 600. It says once per your turn, flip a coin. Heads, move 1 nature element hero from your deck to your hand, and tails, move 1 gadget from your deck to your hand. Your opponent can negate this effect for the turn by spending 1 coin. So either way, it's going to end up being pretty good because you can either move a nature element hero to your hand or move a gadget to your hand. But if your opponent decides to negate it, maybe they find it too powerful of an effect, they can spend a coin, which would make them be down a coin for the turn, which is pretty crucial, especially because you can most of the time only gain 1 coin per turn. Okay, so this is the card that I think pairs really well with Private Investigator, but this is Samade the Intellectual, which is one of our stack heroes for Heroic Set 2. Basically, stack heroes, a brief overview of it is you can either summon it unstacked, which is just like a regular normal summon with a hero, or if you summon it stacked on top of another hero that's already on your side of the grid, it gains the level of whatever hero you stacked it on, and it gains this extra ability and attack and defense. So Samade the Intellectual is a level 1 light element hero, attack of 300 and defense of 300 for the unstacked side, And its unstacked ability is when this hero is summoned, you can name a card. If that card is in your opponent's deck, they must discard it. If they have multiple, they only discard one. And then the stacked ability is attack 300 and defense of 350. And it's the same thing as the unstacked, except it's from their hand instead. Next card is Saturn's Rings, which is a trap gadget. This is the Galactic Guardians class gadget, basically. This when your opponent attacks a Galactic Guardian class hero on your side of the grid, increase the attacked hero's defense by 100 until the end of your opponent's turn. Discard it at the end of the turn. So it's kind of just another way to protect your Galactic Guardians. Last Tsunami Hero is Sister Tsunami, our level 1 water element hero. Attack of 300 and defense of 250. Once per your turn, you may select one hero on your opponent's side of the grid. Its defense becomes 0 until the end of your turn. Basically, this allows you to choose one hero on their side of the grid and make its defense 0, which allows you to kill them. So if it's something that has a really high defense, then maybe for the turn you can try to kill it. Next up is Snow Giant, a level 1 light element hero. Attack of 400 and defense of 475. When this hero is summoned, select one hero on your opponent's side of the grid and put it back in their hand. This is a way to basically just bounce off the threat on their side of the field and put it back in their hand. Next up is Spartan of Rome, a level 1 water element hero. Attack of 475 and defense of 315. When this hero is summoned, select one of your opponent's heroes and one of yours. Their selected hero can now only attack your selected hero. So this is super crucial, especially if you have an effect that relates to attacking a certain hero, or if you literally just want them to only be able to attack something that has a higher defense than their attack. That's another really good way to use it. Our next card is the Blacksmith of Ages, our level 1 fire element hero. This is the stack hero for the fire element. The unstacked attack and defense is 450 and 300, and the unstacked ability is the defense of your opponent's heroes are lowered by 50 defense. The stacked statistics are 450 and 450, and it has the same effect except it's by 100 defense. Now on to the dark element stack hero. This is a level 1, the Devil's Advocate. The unstacked abilities are 475 and 350. When this hero is summoned, choose one hero on your opponent's side of the grid. It loses one level. The stacked ability is 475 and 400. When this hero is summoned, you can choose to give all the heroes on your side of the grid an extra level, and if you do, this hero's level becomes 0. So you kind of just have to choose based on what you need at the time. But I think this is one of the strongest stack heroes that there is. Next up is Thunder Goliath, a level 2 electric element hero from set 2. Attack of 600 and defense of 600. When this hero is summoned, you may discard your entire hand, minimum of 2 cards. If you do, all heroes on your side of the grid are immune to trap gadgets until the end of the turn. This is very much like a game changer card or like a last turn play kind of card, because it basically stops any trap gadgets from getting in your way to finish the blow. Next up is Thunder Knight. As you guys know, this is the first card ever made in Heroic, and I want to redraw it for every single set as more of like a collectible item. But you guys know it's a level 2 electric element hero. Attack of 700 and defense of 150. This hero gains 50 attack for every Thunder class hero on your side of the grid. Next up is Walker of the Badlands, a level 1 electric element hero. Attack of 500 and defense of 300. This is the first digital art that I ever made for set 2. When this hero is selected by an electric element hero's effect, draw a card. So it's kind of just another way to get more cards into your hand. And then our last card for today is Worthy Sacrifice, a magic gadget from the original set 2 cards. It says discard a hero from your hand, then draw a card and gain 1 coin. This is kind of one of those like last resort things where you need more cards and you need more coins to hopefully find something better to win the game. Alright guys, I know we went through a ton of cards and I hope you guys enjoyed all the different arts and all the new effects and stuff that are coming into the game. It looks way different compared to the original set 1 and set 2 cards that were drawn traditionally, but I absolutely love how they are turning out so far and I can't wait to release them. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment down below, let me know what you guys want to see next on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more awesome art videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!